Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This retreat, as you all know, we are going to study Bhakti Yoga, but in a slightly different way. Although the book recommended is Swami Vivekananda's Bhakti Yoga, we will be drawing from this book. It's a small book, but it's a complete work in itself on Bhakti. In addition to that, we will also peep a little into the psychology of Bhakti. Because actually what happens, what should happen for Bhakti to happen, all this we will be discussing. We will discuss the different stages of Bhakti sadhana. We will discuss the different definitions of Bhakti given by saints and sages. And we will also discuss the nature of the love of God. All of this comprehensively will be under discussion in this series. And I will be going to other scriptures also. I'm not going to confine myself to this. I will be going into like Bhagavad Gita on Bhakti. So that let's pull all the ideas together and have a complete, comprehensive view of what Bhakti sadhana is. Because let me tell you this, it is the most important thing for our lives. Amra anek jnana charcha korte pari. See, I also do that. We do that regularly here. Okay, we do a lot of Vedant. But you must remember this, unless your emotional life is integrated with your search for the infinite, you will not go towards the infinite. If our emotional life is given somewhere else, and only our intellectual analytical mind is given to Vedant, it will not work. And many of us are huge emotional powerhouses. Let me remind you, we have a strong emotional life. So we have to make sure that that becomes, transformed into divine emotion, into bhakti. Without that, you can't proceed in spiritual life. This can happen, our analytical skills, our willpower, everything is working in one way, but our emotions are being compromised in another way. This can happen. So take care of this, because spiritual life is an undivided life. It's an undivided life. Your entire vital energy is moving towards the spiritual goal. That's why bhakti is a constitutional necessity. Whether your aim is bhakti, the god of bhakti or not, you have to practice bhakti yoga. And let us remember this also, the orientation of the soul towards the impersonal is called jnana. But the orientation of the soul towards the personal God is called bhakti. And many of us have strong sense of personality. So the personal God you can directly relate to. When you have a personality sense, the personal God will make a lot of sense. When we have stepped into Atma Jnana, then Brahma Jnana opens up. But as long as we have a personality sense, you have to go through bhakti. This is a psychological truth many people don't realize. We use all our analytical skills and try to do Vedant, but that's not enough. Your entire emotional life also is to be raised to the divine. Otherwise, we won't go far. You'll see, in time it will pull you back. So take care of this, and that's why all these practical aspects of bhakti will be under discussion. And the Q&A will be in the afternoon. So keep your questions for the afternoon, but here we will discuss only mainly the theory of bhakti and the psychology of bhakti, most important. Why I say bhakti is a constitutional necessity is only because a large part of our mind is conditioned towards an emotional life. Yes, a large part of our mind, or we are carrying heavy memory, you know that very well, memory baggage. We are not carrying an empty mind. And a large part of it is already conditioned in various ways. So now that all of that has to be divinized, transformed. See, there's a difference between change and transformation. Change means still the remnant of the past can remain, but it appears as something else. But transformation means everything changes. The mind is to be transformed, not just temporarily changed. And that is why then bhakti yoga, bhakti sadhana becomes very important. Absolutely important. The God of the bhakta is, a little different. I told you it's the personal God. It is not the Brahman of the Upanishads, although it's the same. It's the same thing being described, but to the bhakta, he comes as the personal God. The Vedantic definition of Ishvara is, do you know the technical definition? The technical definition of Ishvara is that cosmic consciousness which is in conjunction with Samashti Agnan. Samashti Agnan, but which lords over it, which lords over his own Maya. That is Ishvara. Samashti Ajnana Upahita Chaitanyam Ishvaraha. That is the definition of Ishvara in Vedant, Advait Vedant. But the definition for the the definition is not sufficient for the bhakta. Because his heart is so full of love, na? It's a kind of bland definition, he will say. For him, God, Ishvara, is Sarva Prana Koti Akarshana Tattvam. He is the puller of the human heart. He is the God of love. He is Bhavanidhi. He is a treasure of love. He is Bhavagrahi. He is the one who understands love and gives love and accepts love. So that bland definition of Ishvara is not enough for the bhakta. And we are all like that. We want a God you can relate with at every level. Isn't it? So this provision is there in the Sanatana Dharma, that Brahman of the Upanishads, he alone manifests as the personal God also. Sagun Sakar aspect of Brahman. Don't think it's a lower aspect. It is a different aspect. It's the same thing. Just like how you play so many roles, na? At home you play a particular role, in your office another role, with your students another role, in the ashram a different personality. Like that, the same Brahman can take Sagun Sakar Roop. Sri Ramakrishna used to put it very beautifully. He used to give ice and water analogy. You may remember, somebody asked him, is God with form or formless? Sri Ramakrishna said, look at the ocean. It is full of water, and that water has no akar, isn't it? It's just water. But there are places where this water takes the form of the iceberg. Due to the devotion of the bhakta, the water of Brahman, as it were, condenses into the form of God. So he can relate with it. And when the sun of knowledge arises, the iceberg melts. Antarctica, such huge icebergs are collapsing due to our great climate change, what we have only ushered in. So when the sun of knowledge arises, the iceberg can melt back into the water. The form can merge into the formless. But there are places where the iceberg will not melt also. Sri Ramakrishna points out to this. There are places where the iceberg will not melt because bhaktas do not want the form to go. Chinmay Naam, Chinmay Dham, Thakur used to say. Chinmay means eternal name and eternal form of the divine. The bhakta relates only with that. And so for him, that realm is there. That realm is very much there. So the impersonal and personal aspects of the divine, both are real, equally real. And according to our approach, ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyam. He comes to us like that. So make bhakti yoga an integral part of your spiritual striving, even if you are inclined towards the realization of Brahman, Atma Jnana. See, yogis and jnanis, it's jnana marg for them. They want the impersonal ideal. But still you must practice bhakti yoga to be able to integrate your emotions into your spiritual striving. Whom will you love? You require a form, a name, attributes. So he comes to you in that form. Remember, along both these margas, Jnana Marg and Bhakti Marg, all four yogas are practiced. See, many devotees don't have clarity about this. Recently, we have released a video called Yoga Samucchay. Please watch that video. That's homework for today. Every class, I'll give you homework. You have to watch that video. Clarity should come regarding the spiritual practice and striving. Along both Jnana Marg and Bhakti Marg, see, either we will be Jnana Margis or Bhakti Margis, okay? Our goal is either the personal God or the impersonal absolute. It's the same, at the point of realization, it's the same thing. But until you're traveling towards that, you may appear to be, striving for different things. Along both these margas, all the four yogas are practiced. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Raja Yoga. In the Jnana Marg, how do you practice? Karma Yoga is fundamental. You have to practice selfless work so that the mind becomes selfless. The mind gets that. You have to practice Bhakti Yoga so that your emotions get integrated into the spiritual striving. And then you practice Raja Yoga also, meditation, Upasana, integral part of the Jnana Marg. And Jnana Yoga is main. When you enter the the para portion, then Jnana Yoga will take you there. But in the apara stage, all the four yogas are practiced. Not one is left out. Same thing on the Bhakti Marg. The Karma Yoga is practiced, preliminary Seva. Bhakti and Seva go together. And then Jnana Yoga is practiced. The nature of the God you are worshipping is to be known. The nature of the Jivatman is to be known. And then you are practicing Upasanas, various types of meditation. So Raja Yoga also is there, Jnana Yoga is there, and the main thing is Bhakti Yoga in Bhakti Marg. So in the Apara stage, all the other yogas are there. In the Para Bhakti stage, mainly it is Bhakti Yoga only that takes you towards the realization. So you should remember that diagram which I have put there in that video. All four yogas are practiced along both the paths, and you can't discount one. You can't leave out any one. Otherwise, that wholesomeness of intelligence and mind power, vital energy that is required for the highest striving will not happen. If you leave out emotion, it doesn't work for me. Do you think you can go towards the infinite? Or if you leave out, my intelligence doesn't matter, I will only do bhakti, that will also not work. So take care of this. As sadhaks, we should understand this preliminary thing. Now, once this is taken care of, the second thing which a bhakta should know, before we dive into deep bhakti, you should know this, what love is and what love is not. Because this world, it uses the blanket term love for everything, every kind of emotion. Every kind of emotion, highly compromised vital energy, all that passes for love. Bhaktas can't live like that. You must be particular. We must be sensitive. And we must understand clearly what bhakti means. See, love is not, actually speaking, love, pure love, is not based on a biological or physiological need. Mundane love is based on biological and physiological needs. This is the departure from what people understand by love. The bhakta's love is based on a transcendental need. He wants God. It is not based on any other emotional need. He has advanced to the level when he is able to say, samsara is one thing, the love of God is another thing. See, this duality, this division is there in Bhakti Yoga, but okay. So that we refine and purify our emotions, this discrimination is required. Secondly, love is not what is usually portrayed as love, the chemical, hormonal hijack, all that is not to be called love. It falls under the category of lower emotion in bhakti sadhana. Everyone uses the same word and causes a lot of confusion. So leave out that. Pure love happens only when we have no biological complication or need. When you are complete within yourself, so you are able to give that heart to God. Otherwise, it will be a messy situation, I'm telling you. It won't be real love at all. And the driving force of love is always the illumined pranic energy, the vital energy within you. If it is compromised in all kinds of silly emotion, thought, and all this mundane kind of attractions, it will not generate divine love. So, vital energy is to be conserved for real love to happen. Then, the very nature of love is it transforms the mind. Mundane love does not transform the mind. Divine love will always transform the mind. Mundane love will put you under what is called the hedonic treadmill, because the rasa there is only pleasure, pleasure oriented life. Divine love will transform you into the divine, because you have transcended every biological need there for this love to arise. Love is not, again, attachment. Attachment is a very feeble, unscrupulous emotion which only tends to the ego, your ego. Attachment is when you cling to the object of what you call love for yourself. Love transcends attachment. There can be no attachment in love. You know the difference between love and attachment? There are beautiful flowers in this garden. If you really love that flower, just now hydrangeas are blooming. If you really love it, you will water the plant, take care of the plant, allow that flower to bloom fully. In its own right, you will see, you will enjoy its full bloom. But if you are attached to the flower, you will pluck it and wear it. If you use the object of love to adorn yourself, your ego, that is attachment. When you don't use it anymore, but are just happy at its full bloom, then it is love. Same thing you check and see in our lives, with our children, with our family, with our friends. Are we loving or are we attached? When you use the object of love for your ego, it is attachment. When you liberate the object of love, and that liberation enhances your joy, the full growth of that object of love enhances you. That is love. It's a complete thing. You see, if bhakti, love is there in the heart, nothing more is required. I'm telling you, intelligence will peak, willpower will function magically, vital energy will be beaming, and pure life will come automatically. If real love comes in the heart. Bhakti Yoga is a complete path in itself. It is not to be, coupled, need not be coupled with anything else. Agar bhakti aa jaye, that is more than enough. It gives the greatest satisfaction. And if love is not there, there's no life, isn't it? So how do we purify and elevate this very great faculty within us, the faculty to love? This is what is Bhakti Yoga about. Another thing which there's great mix-up when it comes to love. See, all kinds of emotion and passion is not to be equated with love. Love is something very, very pure and transcendental. Just equating any kind of a flimsy emotion and calling that also love. A bhakta cannot do all this. That is why in a bhakta's acharan, all this will reflect. There's something called achar, na? Achar and maryada. This is fundamental to Bhakti Yoga. See, there are no equivalent words in English, so exactly I can't translate. Achar means the conduct expected of a sadhak. That is important in Bhakti Yoga. A particular way of life, a particular way of behavior with everyone, and refined relationships with everyone, elevated mind, pure emotions. These are fundamental to Bhakti Yoga. And Maryada means the limits of your conduct, they are to be respected. Otherwise, there can be no bhakti. See, the modern world doesn't subscribe to all this at all. This is the problem. But this is so fundamental to the development of bhakti. Mundane love is a mixture of very many confused bhavs. Divine love is never like that. Because of all this training, the bhav will be spectacular in the life of the bhakta. And the rasa will be divine. That is why. So you must not mix up emotions in relationships and create havoc. If you create havoc at this level itself, how are we going to go there? But it's so difficult to tell this to the modern youngster. This is the problem. Because a lot of our conditioning happens by what you are seeing, what you are hearing. See, one of the first, that's why disciplines in Bhakti Yoga is take care of your senses. They are very precious because what you see, what you hear, what you listen and speak and all that are creating the thoughts of your mind. It impacts your mind the most. Yes, your sense input creates your thought world. So you must take care of your senses. Ahara shuddhau, sattva shuddhihi. Sattva shuddhau dhruva smriti. You will remember the real thing. Otherwise, bheshe jabo amra. Take care of your senses. Give them good exposures. Give them good food day and night. Food is not just what we eat by mouth, what you see, what you hear. Everything is food for your mind. So take care of this. See, preliminaries of bhakti, all this. Thakur used to say, bhakti shar, it is the essence of human life. And he would say, when you come to a mango orchard, do you spend your time counting the number of trees and branches and leaves and all that, twigs? You must eat the fruit. That is real intelligence. Bhakti is the fruit of life, divine love. If that has not happened, you miss the most important thing. It is the bhakta alone who eats the cake as well as has it. Most intelligent person on the planet is the bhakta, because bhakti automatically brings knowledge. Knowledge means you partake of infinite being, and yet he tastes the rasa of divine emotion also. He alone eats the cake as well as has it, not the others. I'm really telling you, bhakti is like that. So take care that how do we nurture this level of devotion and protect it. Bhakta's life requires protection, okay, because our bhav should be of that kind that you can raise those levels of rasas. Otherwise, you can't in bhakti. I'll go into all this as we proceed, but here I just wanted to introduce you to what bhakti yoga feels like. It's a particular way of life. Krishna Anushilanam, you might have heard this word. A kind of anushilan towards a life in the Lord. Here it means Krishna, according to this term, but it means life lived in God, for God. See, Swamiji introduces this very beautifully in the beginning of Bhakti Yoga. Go to page number 3 in Swamiji's Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is a real, genuine search after the Lord, a search beginning, continuing, and ending in love. One single moment of the madness of extreme love to God brings us eternal freedom. See, they are not two different things. ये या वो choice नहीं है यहाँ पर. You'll get both. You eat the cake as well as have it. Bhakti, says Narada, in his explanation of the Bhakti aphorisms, is intense love to God. When a man gets it, he loves all, hates none, he becomes satisfied forever. And this love cannot be reduced to any earthly benefit. So you see, desire and everything that sparks of mundane love will automatically vanish if bhakti comes. So you cannot reduce it to any earthly benefit, because so long as worldly desires last, that kind of love does not come. Bhakti is greater than karma, greater than yoga, because these are intended for an object in view, while bhakti is its own fruition, its own means, and its own end. It is all sufficient unto itself, bhakti. Bhakti thakle ar kichu lage na. Yes. And a life lived in bhakti will create such a sanskar backup for you that it will go. See, Thakur used to say this, isn't it? A bhakta's bhakti will never die. It will take you very far ahead in spiritual life. Any birth, you will be born with that sanskar. Because bhakti sanskar is the most powerful sanskar. So it is a complete thing in itself. If bhakti arises, you are safe. Nothing more is required. On an everyday basis, Thakur used to say this, you see, the words of the gospel are the immortal words on the highest bhakti. Thakur says, men shed bucketfuls of tears for people they love, their families, but who weeps for God? Who weeps for God? If you weep for God, you will realize Him. See, when bhakti has gone to that level, when really tears come out of the eyes, when you think of God, then you're safe in the bhakti marg. The very definition of bhakti, here let me give you the definition of bhakti. Swamiji has said intense love for God. The traditional definition of bhakti is Shrutasya Bhagavad Dharmad Dharavahikam Gataha Sarvesha Manovrittaya Bhakti iti Abhidiyate. Which means just by hearing about the Lord, Bhagavad Dharmad, Dharavahikam Gata Sarvesha Manovrittaya. Your entire mind, with all its vrittis, melts away and like a dhara flows towards this ocean of love which God is. See, the entire mind has gone now. Not one vritti or one sanskar, the entire mind melted away. Then that state of mind is called bhakti. That state of mind is called bhakti. So this dravibhuta chitta is characteristic of bhakti. Dravibhuta means it is flowing. It has melted and now flowing like a river in spate, towards the ocean. The jnani's mind doesn't melt rock-like, but it becomes so pure and transparent, it reflects reality. It's a different approach. But in bhakti, the mind melts. One psychological fact is women are powerhouses of bhakti. Because emotional life is very high. You see, all our saints of the past, mainly it was bhakti marg. Women saints especially. Because this dravibhuta chitta is natural to many women actually. So this is required for bhakti to happen. That's what he's saying. And I told you the God of the bhakta is not infinite consciousness alone. Infinite consciousness which manifests divine attributes and takes the most lovable divine form, which captures the bhakta's mind in such a way you cannot let go of it. This is the God of the bhakta. So once we know this, bhakti, now we know how to approach the personal God. And not contrasting it with the approach of the jnani or the approach of the Rajyogi. No need to do all that at all. You just develop love for God for its own sake. For His own sake. It's the greatest thing we can do in life, actually. Yes, this is the real achievement of spiritual life, to be able to generate real devotion for the Supreme, which will never go from you. It becomes part and parcel of your mind, and life after life it continues. That beej of bhakti is to be sown. And it is, let me tell you this also, most satisfying experience of life. Because all these other types of yogis, Raj Yogi or Jnana Yoga, they have a goal to attain. Bhakti is itself the means and the end. You generate bhakti, you will automatically become blissful, happy. Yes. So it is also called sulabha, natural and spontaneous and self-transforming. It alone is enough to get you the highest. These are all the characteristics of bhakti. Only one thing we have to guard against when it comes to bhakti yoga. See, now Swamiji will point out to this. Go to page 5. I'm taking out the very important points and highlighting them. See, the danger of bhakti Swamiji talks of. It can lead to fanaticism. My God alone is real, true. Many people, the only way they can love is by hating others. This kind of a thing is detrimental to bhakti. So you see, the second para I'm going to, this danger of fanaticism exists only in the stage of bhakti, which is called the preparatory, gauni. When bhakti has become ripe and has passed into that form, which is called the supreme or para, no more is there any fear of these hideous manifestations of fanaticism. That soul which is overpowered by this higher form of bhakti is too near the God of love to become an instrument for the diffusion of hatred. See, the danger of the emotional life is this. It's a Yatishwaranji Maharaj in his classic meditation and spiritual life. He says this. It's a short distance from a good emotion to a bad emotion. Emotion means it's high level vital energy, waiting to burst. That is an emotion. Now, when you are exercising a good emotion, after some time it can change color. And now the bad emotion also becomes easy. So many people, their love for God, it's only defined by their hatred for everybody else, every other religion or this can happen. So this should never happen. That is why Vivekananda, no fanatic element should come into bhakti. That's why it should go to the para stage. Then you will understand the same God comes in different forms, under different names, in different guises, through different religions, to give us knowledge, to give us liberation. The same God. So we must progress to that stage. Until then, be careful. This is the word of caution. So no element of fanaticism should come into our bhakti. See, this is the wonderful idea in Sanatana Dharma. Every Thakur's jato mat toto pot is a saving dictum for the modern world. As many religions, that many paths. As many beliefs, that many ways to the divine. As many faiths, that many blessings to humanity. In fact, at one point he said that everyone has his own path. Every soul has its own path to the divine. So we need not quarrel about paths or that you are different from me. If you are different from me, it's a matter to rejoice. Yes, we have so much variety, isn't it? This acceptance should come into our lives. See, unless we are like this, you will find hurdles and obstacles on the spiritual path. The real sadhak, one who really seeks God, will find God. He will not face obstacles in the spiritual life. The essential thing is yearning for God. So the most important element in bhakti sadhana is this yearning. This yearning takes the form of prayer and tears. Yes, that's the most direct form it takes. Once, if you tearfully pray to God, Swamiji says this, you won't know where you are the next few months. That is the impact of praying with tears to God. There's a direct approach in Bhakti Yoga. So, whatever we want, we can bring into our lives. There is a way to it. Only thing is, mind has to be prepared. Even for bhakti sadhana to take place, mind has to be prepared. The mind must become positive. You must have seen the video Miracle of Positive Thinking. See, these are all the primary things for the mind. The mind must learn to remain buoyant with high vital energy and positivity. If it is simply groaning and moaning and blaming, that kind of mind cannot develop bhakti. So take care of this. See, today you are in such auspicious surroundings, I would say, that for the next 1 week, while you are in this retreat, just forget about anything negative in your life. Just forget about the old memories, or uh, keep a little distance even from your family. In the sense, what I mean to say is, don't get too much involved in all that for the next 1 week. You will see you can lift your mind through bhakti. This is very important. There's a shloka to this effect in Bhagavad Gita. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyo vedant kridve davideva chaham. Lord Krishna is saying, everything arises from me, and I live in the human heart. And from there, I direct a human being's knowledge, memory, and forgetfulness. I am the giver of loss of memory also, forgetfulness, because you have to forget what is not required. Otherwise, we'll become stupid. Simply sitting and brooding over something of the past. That tendency, just wash it off, remove it. So don't dwell on past negativities. Here you should shake it off. The intelligent mind is the progressive mind. It looks forward and will remove whatever is not required from the past. See, nothing in life is permanent. Don't give don't give permanent value to something so silly. Huh? Many people do this, yes, that's why now I say it right in the first class. When you bring your questions also, don't bring questions of negativity. That's just something silly, a sanskar holding on to your mind. You must shake it off here. If there's high vital energy, there will be a buoyancy about your mind, a clarity. That level of vital energy only comes when no negativity is there. No worries, no anxieties, no nonsense, no brooding over somebody. Try to generate this here. Then it will continue. Once you form the sanskar, it will continue wherever you are. Now, one more point we will go into. See, I want you to go to page number 7. Many ideas are there, but for our discussion here, Swamiji is pointing out to how bhakti can be generated through the power of meditation, upasana. See, in all these paths, you have to do spiritual practice. If sadhana is not there, don't think I will just talk and it's done. This is just preliminary. Solid sadhana should be there. Many of you are initiated. This is the time to practice your mantra continuously and visualize the form of your chosen deity. This has deep impact on the mind. You do it now for 7 days, you'll see the impact it has on your mind. So you see, Swamiji is pointing out to this here. Go to that paragraph, second paragraph. Meditation again is a constant remembrance of the thing meditated upon, flowing like an unbroken stream of oil poured out from one vessel to another. When this kind of remembering has been attained in relation to God, all bondages break. Thus, it is spoken of in the scriptures regarding constant remembering as a means to liberation. This remembering again is of the same form as seeing, because it is of the same meaning as in the passage, when he who is far and near is seen, the bonds of the heart are broken, all doubts vanish, and all effects of work disappear. Remembering is as good as seeing, he's saying, which means purification of memory and mind is required. This comes only through meditation. As you go on visualizing the form of God, the nature of God, the name is going on continuously within. All your past memories of different things will get erased. The past memories of mundane love will get erased. The very nature of mundane love is it is binding. It doesn't free you because the object of love is limited. It will free you from that meditation. This we don't realize. The nature of the mind is only when you taste a higher state, you will understand the insignificance of the lower state. The nature of mundane love is because the object of love is limited. The nature of that love also becomes limited. Meditation will remove that attachment to mundane love. That is why he's saying remembering is as good as seeing. Purify your memories. Only the thought of God, the name of God, and this divine bhav. Here, let it reach its peak. Your love for God. You're only yearning for God, let me tell you. Each one of us. We were never yearning for anybody else. One day we will realize this. All our search for love in somebody or something was only meant for Him. We were not finding Him, so we were just directing our attention elsewhere. That's all. Now, through meditation, when you direct it on God, you will see the other things will fall off by themselves. If you get attached to limited love, it will keep on limiting you further and further. One fine day, you're dissatisfied. See, when people tell us about breakups and divorce and all, I'm never surprised. Let me tell you this, because it should not happen definitely. But see, family is meant to take you, evolve you further towards the higher thing. But family itself is not the be-all and end-all of human life. Mundane relationships are not everything in life. They are meant to evolve you. The family is the bedrock of emotional and spiritual intelligence. So you must respect it, keep it intact. Family values are very important. But you take that only to be the ultimate thing, then we are going to suffer, isn't it? This is what I'm saying. That breakups happen and divorces happen, all this only happening because you are seeking the infinite in the finite. Yes. So somewhere, at some point, we should realize this. And especially after 50, everyone should realize it. Even if you don't realize it earlier, at this stage, you should realize it, because this is the time now when we should transform ourselves. Respect all family values. Let those things be intact and in place, because that's the only way to grow in spiritual life. You remember this. Emotional intelligence only comes through family values. If they are not in place, it's a very strange psychology we will develop. And Gen Z will understand it after some time. To keep our psychology stable and safe and keep ourselves emotionally secure, you require family and family values. But don't try to use family for, for the highest. It's the base camp. Yes. Now you have to climb through sadhana. Yes. But if base camp only is not there, you can't go anywhere. So take care. The relative importance of things have to be understood. Don't think the same love it can be sparked off for the divine. What we are calling divine love is of a totally different texture altogether. The love which you give to family and spouse and children is still limited. Through sadhana, this very love gets so augmented, magnified, intense, and complete, because now your vitality is in your hands. It's not compromised on small things. That vital force will direct you towards the highest. That is why Thakur used to say this, you have to combine the loves of, the kinds of loves you know. Who realizes God? What Thakur used to say? The three forms of attraction, which everyone knows of. Those three forms of attraction, the mother for the child, then I think friend, Vishayir Pratitam. What Vishayi feels for the Vishaya, and what the Sati feels for the husband. So these three attractions, if they are put together, see, this is what he's saying. Now your vitality is enhanced enormously. With that energy, you can go. Because the nature of God is, He is infinite in every sense. Unless we expand, we can't go there. So these little loves should direct us ultimately to the highest love. But if you don't love at all, that is another mistake, which Sri Ramakrishna himself points out. Once he asked one of his Parshad, one of his disciples, do you love anybody? He said, no, I don't love anybody. Then Thakur said, Dhut, you rascal, you dry rascal, he said. Why Thakur said that was, if you don't invoke love deep within your heart, you will never know divine love. This is the value of human relationships and human love. Relationship psychology, we are actually teaching this in relationship psychology, that the purpose of a relationship is transcendental. It should take you there, finally. But you want to make that alone the be-all and end-all, it won't work. Yes, God is the supreme goal of every jiva. Whether we know it or not, whether we opt for it or not, this is the truth. Jivahood itself means the infinite has become finite to enjoy himself. See, this is the perception of the bhakta. His understanding of himself, jivahood, means a spark of that infinite only has become this jiva in order to enjoy that infinite. Yes. So the taste of bhakti happens only between equals. Something of him must be in you, otherwise it won't happen. Yes. So that is why this is actually the definition of jiva, in Bhakti Shastras. Your personality is not so big a thing about you. It's not important. But what is important is that you're a spark of that infinite. You are capable of infinite love. That's why a mundane object will not inspire your infinite love. Only God will inspire. Because you are a part of Him. This is the heart cry of every bhakta. I want complete love. Love itself is liberation. Swamiji pointed out to this initially. That one moment of supreme love will give you eternal liberation, freedom. Love itself is liberating, but it should be like that. Otherwise, it can be very binding also. If it is not purified, if it is just attachment and passion, it will not liberate the mind. Only pure love will liberate the mind. Love itself is liberation. So, another goal of liberation, mukti, is not required if bhakti yoga is there. Yes. And it's a sweet path, Swadu swadu pade pade, it is described as, which means every day, as you go on practicing bhakti, you go tasting the sweetness of God. There are no harsh disciplines here, or with willpower you have to do something, or replace one thought with another. You just have to love God. That's all. It's the sweet path. It's the scenic route. It's not the direct path. Upanishad, Jnana Marg is the direct path, because the self is already there. So the way of bhakti, the way of love is you form a refined, highly elevated devotional relationship with God. You know, the most important part of a human relationship is both who are involved in the relationship must be very mature. If they are silly and stupid and badly conditioned, they cannot sustain the relationship. So also now you are relating with the infinite in bhakti. You must be mature. We must be of that type. And the meaning of that is your self-image must be very elevated. You know, in Vaishnava traditions, when they give diksha, they don't bother about your personality and your qualification and your job and all. They will give you a self-image. If the mantra is on Krishna, they will give you the self-image of a Manjari of Vrindavan, one of the handmaids of the handmaid of Radha, who loved Krishna completely. So that self-image is important when you practice bhakti sadhana. See, when you go home, are you the boss? Tell me, which you are in your office. Can you be the boss at home? Neither with your mother, nor with your wife, nor with your children. You have to be the loving parent, the loving son, the loving husband, isn't it? So also a new self-image you take up. Relationship means a proper self-image is to be maintained. Then only the relationship works. Even with God, in our relationship with God, you must have a proper self-image. This is fundamental of bhakti and fundamental of relationship psychology. If you try to be the boss at home, there'll be no home. So you change your self-image. Our personality sense changes when we practice bhakti yoga. I'm a child of God, and or I'm a servant of God. One whose sole intention is finding God. That self-image, that is to be nurtured, cultivated. This self-image psychology doesn't come easily. I want you to know this. It has to be nurtured. So in our behavior, in our actions, in our thoughts, we must nurture it. Then it is possible to relate with God. If there's absolutely no self-image, you have an impersonal idea of things. That's all. You can't build bhakti. So a very refined, elevated self-image is given during Diksha only. See, even in our order, they will tell. Suppose you get the mantra of mother, they will say, now here afterwards, you are a daughter of mother. Think of yourself as a child of the Holy Mother. This is the self-image required of the bhakta to practice bhakti. Later on, we will see how this self-image actually becomes very big and divine. And then you are able to actually draw God to yourself. Yes, this is also a very important idea. I can tell you this beautiful incident in Sri Ramakrishna's life, which is so touching. See, once when Shrima was living with Thakur in Dakshineshwar, there were times when M. Mahendranath Gupta, the author of the Gospel, he would stay at Dakshineshwar from time to time and just in sadhana in the close proximity of the master. So once he was staying there in Dakshineshwar, and it so happened that Sri Ramakrishna at 10 o'clock at night told him, you come with me. And they hired a carriage and Sri Ramakrishna took him straight to Kolkata, to the house of a devotee. And then Sri Ramakrishna knocked on the door. And the devotee opened the door and said, Thakur, you have come. Why didn't you send word? I would have come to you. Please come in. Then Thakur comes in and he says, sometimes God is the magnet and the devotee is the needle. But sometimes the devotee becomes magnet because of his longing for God. And God becomes the needle. I felt drawn to come to you. Look at the state, God himself coming and saying this. See, this is bhakti. God responds to devotion. If this bhav is there, he will come. He gets pulled. So your self-image and this relationship, the power of the relationship can create this in a person. Love is actually the acknowledgement of the unity of being. That we share the same being that is expressed through love. So the path of divine love is the path for most people. We should know. We can do our Vedanta and all that, fine. But on an everyday basis, you see what you can actually practice. For most people, it is bhakti. That's why Thakur said, bhakti is yuga dharma. It is the, the path for this age. He knew how our minds are going to function. So he said, condition yourself in bhakti. So this is a right royal road to God and the highest consciousness. Never dispense with bhakti in your life. Nowadays, many people, by way of spiritual practice, they are only listening to YouTube videos. You must have some solid bhakti practice in your life, like japa or puja or dhyan. Something you must practice on the lines of bhakti. Then only emotional life will get integrated into your spiritual striving. Otherwise, it will get left out and mess up with many things. So with this, I'll conclude the morning class. We'll take it up again tomorrow. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.